Well, I want to go over some discoveries I think that might be helpful to some people. It may be or may not be. Using Rife technology, I'm going to use that word in quotation marks. The title is going to have that word Rife in quotation marks because Royal Rife did not actually do anything with Parkinson's disease at all, but commonly known today or commonly used today, the way they use the word Rife, they use it for anything that were associated with frequency research to influence changes in the body or help to heal the body in some fashion. So I'm using the word rife that way, okay? It's probably not the correct term, strictly speaking, but commonly known, most people use the word rife to mean using some type of frequency to influence a change in a body for the better, okay? So Parkinson's disease actually is a lack of dopamine production. It has a lot to do with why it happens. I don't know if there's blockages in the brain. I don't think anybody really knows exactly what it is. Now there have been other medical people have experimented with electro stimulation to, and also even there's medicines out there for Parkinson's. But I want to relay a couple of experiences. I tried this on not myself, it was a family member. It was really like they didn't believe in the technology. I'll tell you one result that we had. I tried it one time when we were over visiting. We tried frequency 6000, and if you look on the consolidated annotated frequency list, frequency 6000 is for like calming, temporary um, relief from nervous disorders, temporary relief from shaking from Parkinson's, and what the person did is I just used a frequency generator and used nothing fancy. Just put it on 6000 pure square wave. This is gobbledygook for you. Maybe you have to do. I'm not going to explain all of it because a lot of people are probably not going to get it. It'll be too long of a video. But I used the handhelds on a device, frequency 6000, for 13 minutes, and I observed that the shaking in the left hand was greatly diminished. And I observed the person for the next, went out to dinner and stuff, observed the person for the next few hours. Everything looked pretty good. It looked like vastly improved. And what I was told by phone, that lasted the whole day. It seemed to go right by, by what the claims are in the consolidated frequency list. Temporary relief from the shaking of Parkinson's. Now, this person didn't have any severe Parkinson's. It was just in the left hand a little bit. It wasn't like really bad. So I don't know how well it would work if you really have a bad amount of Parkinson's. Now, Parkinson's seems to be more prevalent. I'm showing a map here of the globe. More prevalent in the developed nations, maybe with the exception of I think I don't know what country that is over there, not Mongolia, but Afghanistan, but mainly in Western Europe, the United States, Australia, Japan, and Canada. I don't know why that is, why it's more prevalent over there. Maybe it's a lack of certain types of nutrients, that could be another approach. But I'm talking about right here is the electro stimulation. Now, that was just one time. Um, Now, the one person I tried this on, it was just a family member. I just tried to say, hey, try this, hold this. They were like, how long do I have to hold these handhelds for? I said, well, just hold them for like 12, 13 minutes and see what happens. And I was like, whoa. And they just couldn't, they just thought it was like a fluke. So I can't give you some triple blind, double blind study with all these people. I'm not a medical professional and I can't go around playing this game, but I just got to tell you what happened. I'm being honest about that. Now, one device out there that does have the uh, the handhelds and there's a frequency in there specifically 6000 is the Parazapper My 3. Now, am I telling you to buy it? I don't know if it's going to work for you because I don't know how good it can work possibly. According to the consolidated annotated frequency list, it helps with the temporary relief from the shaking of Parkinson's. And it did work for the one time I tried it, not on myself, but on somebody else. I just asked them to try it, and they tried it. Fine, you know, it was just a little thing, see if it works. And I was like, wow. But they really didn't buy into it because it seemed like a lot of people are pretty much against this type of stuff because it's not in the realm of traditional medicine. So, but I guess it is getting that way into the realm of traditional medicine because they are experimenting with deep brain stimulation. And obviously, there's always electrical impulses going through the brain that when we're thinking. Uh, if you ever read the book by the medical doctor Robert C. Becker, The Body Electric, I read that a while ago. There's a lot of different things going on in the body electrically besides chemically. Chemical electrical reactions. It's not explaining everything, how everything works, but it's part of what's going on. So when I told you about that with the handhelds and the device, it seemed to work. I mean, I wish I could repeat it 10,000 times with thousands of people, fine, but I can't. I can only tell you that it worked that one time, and it was on a mild case of Parkinson's. Now, this is what I want to get into. I tried this Spooky 2 remote device, and I don't know if you know what that is. Just look it up. I've got stuff on my channel on it. There's people that have other things out there. I don't sell the device or anything. I'm not going to give you any promises. Um, I was trying to get, and the remote technology, it uses like a DNA sample of a person, and supposedly it could transmit the frequencies from the DNA sample to the DNA in the person anywhere in the world. Sounds, I just can't get my mind wrapped around this stuff even now. It just seems too space age, too Star Trek-y, but there's a couple things I did, like vision to improve seems to work very well. I've ran those frequencies. They seem to work while they're running. Well, I tried everything in the world on Parkinson's for this individual, and nothing worked until I came across something very unexpected. And I just want to put this out here for your information. I don't know if this will work for you. I'll tell you what it was. It basically was these two frequency sets. Doesn't say Parkinson's. It says cancer, nervous system neoplasms, and nervous disorders neuropathy. I ran those two under the extra on Spooky 2 through the DNA remote. Now, if you go ahead and do this and you want to try this, I you know I don't like spend I don't like because you might be wasting your money if you try this. I don't know if it's going to work. Um, I'll tell you how this I think it worked because it could be something else that improved why it improved, but it vastly improved. I saw this person a week ago, and I was like, "Whoa, the symptoms are gone." I was like, "What happened?" And they said, "Yeah, they've been gone." And I talked to him on the phone um, before because I was experimenting with trying to run Parkinson's this, Parkinson's that, and all these other different things, and nothing seemed to be working. Then one time they told me just on the phone that wow, the whole thing seemed like it went away. And she says, well, how was it today? He goes, not so good. I said, wait a minute. Just last week I tried running these two frequency sets, and then that day when you said it wasn't that good, I switched them back to something else. So now I've been running this all the time, 24 hours a day. Cancer, nervous system neoplasms, and nerve disorders neuropathy. It doesn't specifically say Parkinson's, but when I saw the person last week, I said, whoa, there's nothing there. And it could be, the doctor changed the medication a few months ago, but that was before I started doing this, and the medication didn't seem to do anything. The change in medication didn't seem to do anything. And about 6 months ago, they tried starting iodine, and that didn't seem to do anything. But maybe the iodine and the medication kicked in, and maybe didn't do it. Maybe the frequencies didn't do anything. But then again, maybe they did. It's like, I'm not going to stop doing this because whatever the hell's going on right now, there's no symptoms of Parkinson's at all, period. I don't know what happened exactly, okay? I'm being honest. I mean, if you want to try this, because I don't know if it's going to work, I would not get, you know, You can get the Power Zapper My 3 with the handhelds. I think that worked. I saw that worked only one time. Only did one experiment. That was it. I was like, wow, it lasts for like hours. You just hold it for 10 minutes. And with mild Parkinson's, what I observed, it worked for hours, all day, the rest of the day. Um, if this works, these two frequency sets, you want to try this out with the remote, I would just get the boost cable, one spooky generator, just one, and or one remote. And I set them on a John White um, killing frequencies for killing pipe microbes. I set it that way versus healing. The inverted square tooth, you'll have to look up on the website and read the manual how this works, but it wasn't really nothing complicated. But actually, what's interesting is the cancer nervous system neoplasms. I like running it because the first frequency set has a lot of frequencies that are beneficial for a lot of different things according to the consolidated frequency list. Like frequency 7.83 is a human earth frequency, 20 is a very common frequency, 72 is a number of issues, 95 is an issue. Like some of these things can address supposedly prostate issues and all this other stuff. Even sexual impotence. 727 is a catch-all frequency. 787, very popular Rife quote unquote frequency. It's not original Rife, but they're commonly used with this technology. So I'm not going to really get into a lot of detail on this. I'm just kind of presenting this really fast because I don't know if this freaking thing worked. Because it could have been, I don't know. Well, it's like this. I am as skeptical as everybody else with this type of stuff, and especially the remote. That freaking just blows my mind how that could possibly work. But there's I don't want to make any promises to anybody, and I don't want anybody wasting money on anything. So, you could try this. You can maybe try the Parasapper Mind 3 with the handhelds. You could set the spooky thing that way with the 6,000 hertz. The Parasapper's portable, though. You can take that anywhere you want. You can just set that as your favorite mode and use it if it works for you whenever you need to use it for 10 minutes. Maybe that'll help a lot. I wish I could tell you for sure. Sorry. And, everything with the nervous system, though, it is electrically stimulated. How do you think the information's going through the brain? How do you think the brain sends information to the limbs and the heart and all the organs and everything else? So, um, but this frequency technology has actually had a number of years now where it's not in the medical science, it's not in the medical profession. It's more like these experimenters doing it. But there's so many people now that some of these frequencies really seem to do something. I'm not going to tell you. Somebody's going to tell me, where's the double blind study? Where's the triple blind study? Sorry, there isn't any. Nobody can actually make claims about this stuff. I mean, I could tell you that there's stuff that they do on. Well, they also been doing it on humans in Italy too, but they do it on dogs with strokes. Like a dog will be dragging its hind legs, and it had a stroke, and it drags its hind legs, and they use a magnetic pulsar to help the dog recover from the stroke a lot faster. And it works. They do it with pets. I mean, I can't just tell you, I can't. I'm not going to give you a bunch of quotes from Nikola Tesla, like, frequency and energy is everything, and give you a big sales pitch about this stuff. If you want to try it, it depends on your income level too. I mean, some people, they get a spooky tool with a remote device and a boost cable and a power zapper, My 3, that they can carry with them anywhere. They could do that with the My 3 power zapper. It's not that much money to some people, compared to like what they spend. I think it may be very beneficial, but it's like I wish I could prove it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I just got to tell you what my experience was. Again, I tried 6,000 hertz. Well, I asked the person to try it. They tried the 6,000 hertz. Now, Pyrazapper My 3 has a mode in there for 6,000 hertz. You know, is that going to work for everybody? I don't know. It was a mild case of Parkinson's. It wasn't like really bad anyway. They had the shaking in the left hand, and when they tried the handhelds, holding the handhelds with at 6,000 hertz, it went away for the rest of the day. It was almost gone completely. It was there a little bit, but it was like vast majority of it was gone. And then I tried doing the remote device. If you want to know what that is, you have to look around and see what it is on the Spooky 2 device. Um, it Nothing seemed to work that was listed under Parkinson's. And I'm not 110% sure of this. But let me tell you this. The reason I'm putting this out is this. I was trying everything under the sun under the Spooky 2 device for Parkinson's, and nothing seemed to work until I did this. And it's like, even if it worked on this one person, and this was the reason it worked, does it prove it works for everybody in the world? No. This is what I ran: cancer, nervous system, neoplasms under the extra, and nerve disorders and neopathy under the extra. That's what I ran. No symptoms, none. I don't know if it's because of this though. It could have been, did the change in medication just happen to kick in like a month later and effects happen, or maybe the iodine supplements started kicking in from 3 months before, and maybe it was a combination of things. I don't know. But I do like the idea behind at least the first set, because the first set has a number of frequencies that seem to are allegedly addressing a number of issues. So what the hell, right? So I'm not going to give you some kind of promises here. I'm not going to give you a sales pitch on anything. I'm not even going to put a link on anything. If you ask, well, maybe I will. Somebody asked me where the hell this stuff is. Well, it's Parazapper. I think it's parazapper.com, or I don't know. Google Parazapper My 3, whatever. That's a device that has the frequency 6,000. You can hold the handhelds. I don't know if it's going to work. I know it worked on it. I know the 6,000 hertz worked on the one person one time. They just thought it was like so crazy. How did this thing work? They just didn't believe it ever could work, and they didn't do it anymore. Then this thing, there's been no symptoms of Parkinson's running this cancer, nervous system, neoplasms, and nerve disorders, neopathy in months now. So I don't know. And it's got actually the second set, nerve disorders, neopathy. It does have some really weird, I'll call them weird frequencies, because like this 50,368. I never heard of anybody using that frequency for anything. I don't know what that is. It does have some of the frequencies are like very common, but then other frequencies are like, they're not even on a consolidated frequency list anywhere. And it's all on the John White settings of the killing microbe settings 64. It's already in there, just pre-selected. You have to read the manual. It's inverted sawtooth wave, like it says down here on the bottom, and it's also the 64 frequency multiplier, like right here. But that's all in the presets. I already lost a bunch of people on that deal, but it's not that complicated, believe me. I wish I knew it worked on everybody. And I wish I actually knew it worked for sure in this one person. It just could be a fluke, you know? But then, if I don't tell anybody about this, well, I wish I could tell you for sure, man. I wish I could. What the hell you want from me, man? Somebody to freaking give it all bent. I know there's people out there to get all bent out of shape because they say, "What are you trying to do? Sell this product?" No, I bought this product. I bought it. I got the Parazapper, and I got the Spooky too. I bought it. I am a customer. You know what I mean? That's all the deal is. That's it. And I have more. I have more. I can wrap my mind more around a contact method than I can this remote method. But I can't knock this remote method because it seems to work. But it was very difficult. I tried everything under the sun for Parkinson's under the remote method, and like I said to you already several times, it wasn't any of the things under Parkinson's that worked for Parkinson's under the remote method. Under the contact method, it worked. Under the remote method, nothing worked that said for the Parkinson's. But under the remote method, as I said before, what worked for Parkinson's, well, which I think worked. I wish I could, like I said, I wish I could freaking, somebody could get after me and say, "Did you try this on 20 people? Who are you, a medical doctor? Or are you?" I'm like, no, sorry. What do you want from me, man? What the hell you want? Oh, shit, this is like a niche video anyway. What do you think I'm gonna do? Get 10 million views on this thing? For crying out loud, putting this out here for money or something, like big money or something. Come on, give me a break. I ran these two things. It took, and you know how long I've been screwing around trying to figure out what the hell would work for Parkinson's. Uh, 2 years. So it took me 2 years before I stumbled upon this, and I'm not changing it because even this person's like, even though they're not sure if this is what did it, they said don't stop doing this. They said don't stop doing this because I've never had any problems. That's what they're saying. So it's cancer, nervous system, neoplasms, and nerve disorders, neopathy. So, actually, I think this would be probably better for people that already bought a spooky toe and they got to know a person with Parkinson's and the person wants to try this with the fingernail clipping. See if it works. And then if it works, then, that's two, right? Then if we find another one, it's three, that's four, that's five. Then maybe we got something here. So, sorry, I can't give you all the answers, but being that nobody in the medical community is actually looking into this stuff, I mean, what do you want me to do, right? Sorry, okay? I said sorry 50 million times. Just telling you what I found out, and I wish I could tell you for absolutely sure this is the deal, but that's just how it is. What can I tell you, right? So be happy, be healthy. Don't spend a lot of money on stuff. And this is not a sales pitch. And me personally, I'm into this stuff. I find this technology interesting. Okay, sorry, I mean, what am I? It's because I know I get flack on this crap left and right for some people. I find this technology interesting, and I know there's a few other people out there that find this technology interesting. That's all it is. It's interesting, right? That's all it is. And the bad side to it is this: if it works as good as I think it's going to work, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people not making a lot of money anymore because this technology is very cheap. But then maybe they can make money somewhere else. I don't know. Sorry. That's why I'm hesitant to put this stuff out too much. But anyway, have a nice day. Be healthy. Be happy.